go to the subject that you engage with the most,
Yes.
which is brain-gut axis healing using
Yeah.
photobiomodulation technology. Can you tell
Yeah.
us about that?
Yeah. So photobiomodulation is a bit of a long, fancy word, and it really just means light therapy. So it used to be done really exclusively with lasers. And so the terminology was also always cold laser therapy or laser therapy. But now most people use LEDs because there's been such advancement in that technology. So we needed a new word. So we decided on photobiomodulation, which is a bit of a mouthful, but it just means modulating your body with light. So that's why that's a bit of a mouthful, but for most people, red light therapy is quite clear, because although there are different colors, we all know there are different colors of light. The ones that are most healing are the ones in the red end of the spectrum. So that's slightly longer wave. So if you think of a rainbow, red, orange, green, yellow, and you go down to blue, the blue ones are kind of more energetic because they're short wavelength, and then the ones at the other end, the kind of oranges and the reds, are slightly longer wavelength, and they're more healing. They penetrate deeper into the body, and they affect the mitochondria that we spoke about before to give you more energy and to have healing reactions. So the body responds to all the different colors of light, but it's the red end of the spectrum which is the most healing for our bodies. And so that's why we feel great when we see sunrise and sunset, because we're getting the red color. That red color is the healing side of light. So we can, because that light does penetrate into the body, especially infrared, which is just beyond the red that we can see with our eyes. So it looks invisible to us, but it's still technically in the red spectrum. Because that goes deep into our bodies, we can then actually use it with these devices to get fairly deep into our bodies and have an effect on the organ there. So we can put it over the gut and it will penetrate the gut. We can put it over the forehead and it will penetrate onto the surface of the brain.
Great. I will tell you my experience, and then we'll comment on the technology. I was not aware of this information, but in 2016 I had a back injury, and it was a severe hernia. And my good friend has the LED device with the red and infrared lights, and I was to take my t-shirt off and put it behind my back, 30 centimeter, 40 centimeter. He was not a doctor or anything, just happened to know that, and didn't explain to me why, but I kind of liked it and done it regularly. The doctors have said to me I need to do an operation, but I decided not to do that. So I took this technology in combination with good food and swimming, and it did function very well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting you said, oh, you didn't know how it worked, but you quite liked it, because the body produces, all kinds of chemicals when we expose ourselves to sunrise and sunset, but also to this red light. And, it's almost like an opiate, in form, the chemicals that we produce, because our bodies want us to be exposed to these. We feel good with sunrise and sunset because really nature wants us to be out there at sunrise and sunset. So we produce chemicals that make us like the experience. And I think that's why, you see a lot of animals who might gravitate to this therapy, because you kind of intuitively know that it's doing something good for you.
Yes, I'm pretty sure when I remember about that time, I was doing it like every day and
Right.
without knowing that it will help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great too, because with a lot of these therapies, it is also inconsistency. Because as you expose yourself to the light, your body reacts. So if you're targeting the mitochondria, every time you expose yourself to these red light therapy devices, the body produces more mitochondria. So that the next time you can receive more light, and it kind of builds on this effect. So people who use these devices regularly get the greatest effect from them.
Okay. In the technology, you have a part of it you put on the head and a part of it you put on the gut.
Yeah.
Are they linked using Bluetooth or something, or they are not linked technologically?
Technologically, they're not linked. And I've done that deliberately because, as we've spoken about, I'm kind of not into having too much of these non-native EMF fields
Yes.
going to the body.
Yeah.
So like my device, this is the headband, and it has Bluetooth because I can do pulsing in the headband, but it also has a disable switch. So you program the headband with the Bluetooth, but then you have the option to turn it off. So connecting the two devices was an option for me, but I've deliberately kept it simple. It's just the body pad just has an on-off switch to minimize that the EMFs going to the body. Because, you know, as we've said before, you want to minimize any of these little things as much as you possibly can. But the connection is really internal. You know, you're putting this device on your head, you're putting a device on your gut.
Yeah.
You know, your body's doing the connection. You're building up beneficial bacteria in your gut, you're healing the integrity of the gut, so you're healing your leaky gut at the same time as you're energizing your brain and helping your brain to entrain different brain waves. So over a period of time, you build up this connection between the gut and the brain by doing both of these devices together with the red and near infrared light.
Yeah, I kind of love the English language because an idea came to my mind now. I do remember Mr. Sanders told me that this device could help in depression. And I'm thinking about depression. What is depression? And we think about it in psychology or an economy, like an economy is doing bad. Like
Yeah.
psychology, my organism is not doing that bad. So like we have to energize it. Okay, like for example, in the economy, what's his name? Keynes worked how to do this. What's the name of his idea? Simulation, economy
Oh,
simulation,
yes. Stimulation. Yes. Right.
quantitative easing, and so, and then it's very similar to what you're talking about. Yes, very interesting to see the parallels.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we kind of do live in these nested structures. You know, our cells are doing their thing, and then that has an effect on our organs, then that has an effect on our bodies, then that has an effect on our communities, then that has effects on
Yeah,
our societies. You know, everything is kind of nested, and we have these patterns, and we, you know, we need to respect all the different scales, I think, you know, because obviously if you're feeling good, you're having a ripple effect, your family's feeling better because you're feeling better, your family's doing better. So I think that's an interesting point. You know, it's nice to think globally sometimes, you know, to kind of expand ourselves a little bit and think, okay,
yeah,
how is this kind of being mirrored in the world around me also? Because, yeah, nothing is in isolation, everything
yeah.
is connected.
Yes, yes. Even I started to thinking about such things the last few years, because I see also there is, because I have been through suicidal thinking, and I see that at the global level, that's
Mm,
also the global society could do something, think like this,
yeah,
global societal suicide. At least thinking unconsciously. I don't think that is a conscious thing. Like in my own experience, I had nothing that drove me to do that. It was just my ecological system inside my organism was out of balance. And
yeah,
the same thing could be at the societal level, that a society, a city, a country, a civilization could commit suicide. Yeah.
yes. Yeah, some people, I mean, it depends, you know, where you put your focus. I mean, sometimes when you look at all the stuff going on in the news, you think, oh my goodness, we are on self-destruct mode here.
Yes, yes, yeah. Mr. Jeremy Griffiths, he says we are in the race of between self-destruction and self-understanding. And kind
Yeah,
of love that because we can solve the problem of self-destruction using self-understanding, like what you are doing with your technology, for example. This is
yeah,
an understanding about yourself, about the human being, and using this understanding, you can end or help end the self-destruction. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it starts with the smallest things. Start by looking after these tiny little organelles in your body. Then those tiny little organelles will look after your cells. You know, then you will feel healthier and happier in your body. Then you can help your society. I think you're right. It all comes from perhaps what we're thinking now. It's about awareness, having self-awareness. Once you have the awareness and you can have an understanding of your thoughts, like you are able to see your thoughts from the outside and think, okay, why am I don't even know why I'm having these thoughts. You know,
Yeah.
you had the awareness, but when you're in it, you know, when you're kind of in it and you're just not, you can't see out of it. So I think awareness is a huge thing, and it's something that, you know, some of these technologies allow people to at least have that.
Okay, you are talking about awareness. What is the difference between awareness and consciousness? Is there a difference?
I don't know. I belong to a lot of groups that are investigating consciousness. And, you know, to me, consciousness is something that is kind of much bigger than the individual. You know, consciousness, you know, could even be a fundamental of the universe for all we know. You know, it's something that we're just kind of living through. And to me, awareness is more something individual. You know, how aware are you as an individual? So do you have that capacity to kind of think about your motivations, or to understand your environment? So that would be my way to differentiate the two.
Okay, very interesting actually. So awareness is individual thing, consciousness is beyond the individual.
I think so. I mean, consciousness is a funny word because, you know, you can have, you know, if you give somebody a certain gas, they become unconscious, like they lose their consciousness. Or when, you know, if someone's knocked out, they become unconscious. But is that they're just losing the ability to experience the consciousness that's happening, or if they, you know, or is it something fundamental to the individual? I think we could kind of go on for days arguing about what consciousness is and what it isn't. But certainly I think it probably, consciousness is something that is a fundamental, and it's something bigger than the individual. And of course, you know, how we experience consciousness, or what that is another massive topic, and is linked to awareness.
Yes.
But I think if we're talking about health, you know, on a very basic level, kind of taking responsibility for your health, having awareness around some of these things that could be impacting you, is probably a great place to start. And if people are kind of there, no matter where you are with your health, you can probably make big changes. You know, I think they're things that really are important on a
Uh,
health journey to
I,
cultivate.
I kind of love that because I was always thinking about consciousness, but what you are saying is reduce responsibility just on awareness. So because when you try to be conscious about a lot of things, it could be too much. But just aware about your neighboring areas, about aware about what you eat, what you do, personal responsibility. So yes, it's gonna reduce the load on the shoulders.
Yes, because we don't know, you know, we don't really even know what consciousness is, and to take that on, I mean,